Hello, my name is Gabe. For this problem, we're given A is equal to 120 degrees and two side lengths, A equals B equals 25 units. And we're asked, if possible, to use the law of sines to solve this triangle. Let's begin by noting that we know two side lengths and the angle opposite one of the sides. In this case, we have the ambiguous case. And also, since the angle A is obtuse, is 120 degrees, and A is equal to B, we know that there is no solution to this triangle. However, we can also use the law of sines to show that there is going to be no solution to this triangle. Let's recall that the law of sines says that A divided by sine of A is equal to B divided by sine of B is equal to C divided by sine of C. If we try to use this information to find one of our other angles, say B, what we'll find is that we'll reach a contradiction. So let's substitute our values in. We know that A is 25, and sine of A is equal to sine of 120 degrees. And like I said, we're going to try to solve for B. So we'll set this equal to 25 divided by sine of B. Now here, if we divide each side of the equation by 25 and multiply by sine of B and sine of 120, what we reach is sine of B is equal to sine of 120 degrees. Here we can evaluate sine of 120 degrees, and what we find is sine of 120 degrees is the square root of 3 divided by 2. And finally, we can use the inverse trigonometric properties to solve for B by taking the inverse sine of each side of the equation or taking the arcsine of each side of the equation. And what we find is that B is equal to 60 degrees. Now, so far, we haven't run into any issues with B being 60 degrees until we go back and we note that A was 120 degrees. So if we tried to find what our third angle, angle C, was, angle C would be 180 degrees minus 120 degrees minus 60 degrees. And what we'd find is that the angle C is equal to 0. But since we're trying to solve for a triangle, we can't have one of our angles being equal to 0. So this is a contradiction, which again tells us that there is no solution to this triangle. Another way to see that this triangle has no solution is to try to draw the triangle with these three properties. So let's begin by drawing one of our side lengths, A equals 25 units. And let's draw another side length, B also equals 25 units. Now the important thing to notice here is that the angle A is 120 degrees and lies opposite the side length A. So the angle A is here, and is 120 degrees. And what we see is that no matter what angle we choose here, we can never create a triangle with these three conditions. A is equal to 25 units, B is equal to 25 units, and the angle A is 120 degrees. Thank you.